Artur Beterbiev completely destroys Joe Smith Jr. This guy might be the biggest puncher since Deontay Wilder, and you could even argue he's an even bigger puncher. From my knowledge, he's got a 100% knockout record, which is insane. Joe Smith Jr. is supposed to be one of the top guys in the light heavyweight division, and he just absolutely ran through him. Now, I have no idea why Joe Smith Jr. opted to stay in the pocket in exchange with such a ferocious power puncher. His best bet was to stay on the outside, find his distance, move around the ring, lean when he needs to, clinch, hold, frustrate Artur Beterbiev, and just be a very savvy fighter. But, he didn't really approach the fight in the best way, in my opinion. Artur Beterbiev is extremely unconventional. He threw a lot of left and right hooks that were just ripping through Joe Smith Jr.'s guard. I haven't seen a fighter just completely break through another guy's guard like that. It kind of reminds me of Canelo. When Canelo's there, you see his aura, you see his presence, and he's able to just rip through fighters' guards. That's what Artur Beterbiev did tonight. He doesn't just hit you, he punches through you. And he is extremely heavy-handed. I mean, how many times do you see a fighter consistently throw left and right hooks? This guy didn't throw many straight shots. Obviously, the fight was only, 2 rounds? So he didn't really have, the time. We didn't see much of him in this fight because what we did see from him was very clinical, very damaging shots. I mean, as soon as the bell rang, you could see his intent. But wow, did he really put it on Joe Smith Jr. He was moving around the ring at the very first half of the first round. So I thought, oh, maybe he's just going to try to establish himself, and then as the fight goes on, he's going to try to land those big punches. But no, he really went to work right away. You don't get paid overtime in boxing, do you? If you can end the fight in 1-2 rounds, why do you need to go to 12 rounds? And that's the type of destructive mentality I felt like he displayed today, Artur Beterbiev. He is currently, I would say, the biggest pound-for-pound puncher in boxing. He is the most dangerous fighter, you would have to say, in all of boxing. I'm not saying he's the best fighter, I'm saying he's the most dangerous, because he is a big puncher and he also has some good footwork. He has a decent jab, a decent right hand. He also has a very good uppercut. He was just able to time Joe Smith Jr. Joe Smith Jr., if he would throw a lazy punch, Artur Beterbiev would really make him pay. I don't like when fighters throw those methodical shots because they can often get timed and countered by a much sharper shot, a much more meaningful shot. And as you see, he was able to drop Joe Smith Jr. several times in this fight. Joe Smith Jr. didn't seem like he was throwing with the intent to really hurt Artur Beterbiev. I seen his shots were a bit lazy, they were a bit slow, they weren't very heavy shots, and he was not able to gain the respect of Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev was fighting at mid to close range. When he was fighting on the inside, he was confident. When he was fighting, even at long range, for the very few moments they were fighting at distance, he was more confident. So he was just better in all aspects today, Artur Beterbiev. This was just a fantastic performance from Artur Beterbiev. I guess the question is, who does he fight next? We've seen Anthony Yarde talking. It seems like it's going to be Anthony Yarde next. Yarde has to really prepare for this fight. He had an impressive performance against Lyndon Arthur, and Anthony Yarde's got a lot of power himself. I don't think he's got as much power as not Joe Smith Jr., Artur Beterbiev, but he's definitely got more boxing skills in my opinion. But we'll need to see. Yarde has been beaten. He did lose to Kovalev, though Kovalev also was a very big puncher. Even though he was slightly on the older side, and people will be critical of Anthony Yarde, saying, this was his moment, this was his big fight, he should have won that fight. Kovalev is a very, very big puncher. He's a very dangerous guy. He's a very strong light heavyweight. So, there's no shame in losing to Kovalev. So yeah, it looks like Anthony Yarde, Artur Beterbiev will be the next fight for Artur Beterbiev. Anthony Yarde might fight someone, as like a tune-up fight, then he might fight Artur Beterbiev, but we'll have to see. We just need to see all these guys fight each other. We've seen Joe Smith Jr. get in there against Beterbiev. We've seen Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yarde, which was a great domestic fight. Let's see Dmitry Bivol, let's see Artur Beterbiev, and let's see Anthony Yarde. Let's see those top guys fight each other. There's still so many great fights that can happen, and this was another great fight. Very early stoppage, but it was very, very entertaining because Beterbiev puts on a show. He does not waste a moment. He goes there and he's looking for the knockout. That guy is ice cold with some of the punches he was landing today. Wow. So let me know what you guys in the comment section below think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Alright, peace.